Welcome back to Digital Wandering. And today I have my Pixel 3a, which I've shown many times on the channel, running the latest version of Ubuntu Touch, or at least the latest version at the time of this video. So where we are right now is on the UBports Forum. And this is the information that I used to install Waydroid on this device. So Waydroid gives you Android app support for Ubuntu Touch, so that gives you access to Android apps. And the commands that you see here in this post is what I used to install Waydroid. And I typed in these commands into the terminal app that comes with Ubuntu Touch. So after entering those commands in the listing, in the order listed here, and just restarting my device, that gave me access to Waydroid. So let's just look at that. Before we do that, I just want to show the app switcher here. And this is the browser app, the Morph browser. And I just also want to open up the settings app here as well, because we'll be using that later. And this is just the settings app. Let me turn off rotation lock. And now let's open Waydroid. And it's going to go down to my apps here. And excuse me, because I'm switching over so many different screens, we're probably going to lose focus here and there. And there's the Waydroid app there. And let's just go into that and open up Waydroid. Hopefully this goes well. I've been trying to do this video multiple times, and there's always been a mishap to show Waydroid. So this is like the 10th attempt. So hopefully this goes well. Most of my videos, and actually all the videos that I had on this channel up until this point, are unscripted. So things happen sometimes and I have to start all over. But here we are. Now, what Waydroid is basically an instance of Android within Ubuntu Touch. So, and this is a de-Googled version of Android, Lineage OS, which we have here, which is what Waydroid is based on. But let's just go over, and you can see I have the other apps still open. So this essentially acts like an app, is what Waydroid acts like. So you can switch between the Ubuntu Touch apps that I have open and Waydroid, and it's a fully functional instance of Android here. So you can see where the quick settings here that you would see under Android, along with, if I had notifications, they'll be there as well. And you see the row of apps there, and also the whole app drawer of all the apps that I have currently installed. So it's fully functional. Now, I would say that this isn't a replacement for a dedicated Android phone. A dedicated Android phone will still be more stable than this, and more, if not all, the apps will be fully functional under a dedicated Android phone, where there are going to be certain apps that are not fully functional here. That being said, it's still very great. I mean, a lot of the apps that are available on Android will be functional here. So if you're a big fan of Ubuntu Touch, but one of the drawbacks that you're finding is there's certain apps and services not available on the platform, by installing Waydroid, that gives you access to a whole universe of Android apps that can fill in the gaps of those missing things that you don't have under Ubuntu Touch. So this really expands the usability of Ubuntu Touch by adding Waydroid. Now, this is fully functional Android. Most things will work. Some of the quick settings will not work with this like operating system within an operating system, but a lot of the things will work. One thing like the camera here. The camera, you're able to access the hardware camera of the Pixel 3a, but for most of the times, for rear photos on the main camera, they do not work for the most part. I was able to only take one photo using the rear camera. Most of the time when you press, nothing happens. Hey, look, I was able to take a photo. That's the second time it actually worked. But for the most part, as you see, when you press the button, nothing happens. The rear camera or the selfie camera normally works all the time. The main camera rarely works, so you want to use the main camera under the Ubuntu Touch side of this, not so much under the under Waydroid. And another thing, I'm about to use one of the navigation buttons down here to get back to the home screen. So if you look at the bottom, you do have the back, the home, and like the multitasking button here. They are functional, but if you can see, they're kind of partially cut off. So it's like, so you have to hit them just right. Sometimes, often with my thumb, it has difficulty hitting them. Like right now, so you can see the things that we have open so far. And actually, some of these things we're going to be demoing soon. So I'm just going to close everything right now. So they are functional. They're not just there for show, but they are partially cut off here under Waydroid. Some of the things you might have just seen that I had open. I had some of the app stores open. Now, when you originally install this, the fresh install of Waydroid, there's no app stores, but you do have some pre-installed apps. One of them being a browser app, and using that browser app, I was able to connect to the internet and download the app stores of my choice. So I have the F-Droid store, which I've shown before on this channel when I was demoing CalyxOS. And that gives you access to the open source Android apps. Another thing I was able to do, once I had the F-Droid store, I was able to download the Aurora Store. And that's right here. And that's like an open source front end of the Google Play Store. And that gives you access to all those mainstream Google Play Store apps. It does take a long time to load though. But that gives you access to a lot of the major apps that you would use under Android. And there's that. Okay, so a couple of things I do want to show here. And the first thing, I did not notice the first 24 hours of using Waydroid because most of the time I'm using my smartphone, I'm using it just like this, in like vertical or portrait mode. But if you switch this to like a horizontal or a landscape, it does that. So it's not fully functional, the rotation of the screen. So you really only can really use this in portrait. I tried to find a fix for this and I wasn't able to find one online. The initial fix that I located, it was something called multi-window mode, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head. And there were some commands you were entering in order to activate that. When I tried that, it knocked out Waydroid entirely on my phone. And I had to remove it in order to regain access to Waydroid. The only thing that I've been able to do, and it doesn't fix it, but it just stops that screen rotation, is you have to do this on the Ubuntu Touch side. So going back into Systems, Rotation Lock. So I just activated the Rotation Lock under the System Settings under Ubuntu Touch. And let's go back to the App Switcher here, go back to Waydroid. And now if we flip it, landscape, it doesn't rotate. Have to do that under the Ubuntu Touch side. There are, screen rotation lock here, auto rotate, but that doesn't fix that at all. You have to do it under the Ubuntu Touch side. That also brings up another thing here. This, although they're operating off the same device, Ubuntu Touch and Waydroid, they don't really speak to one another. So although I have a lot of files on this device under the Ubuntu Touch operating system, so all the videos, photos, documents, whatever I have on here, I cannot access any of those files under Waydroid. It's only things that I actually download on the Waydroid side that I have access to. So if I find a photo online and I download it under Waydroid, it will only be available under the file system under Waydroid. I can't access it on the Ubuntu Touch side or vice versa. Sometimes when you have something like this, where it's like an operating system within an operating system, like a virtual machine or some type of virtualization, they'll create a folder on the drive that you can use to share files between the two systems. There's nothing like that here. So the systems themselves do not talk to each other. So that is something that you have to be aware of. Another thing I found is that I can't get video to work. So like streaming video or even video that I found off the internet that I tried to save to the device, that I wasn't able to get it to play. And let's just show something here. So I have a TikTok app here. And this TikTok app, I actually download to the device from the Aurora Store. So I was able to get it there. And let's just open it. Now, it's largely functional because I was able to create a brand new TikTok account within the app. But the videos themselves, you only get the initial freeze frame, like the first frame of the video, but everything else, it just does not play. So that just shows you the issues here. So if you want to watch video, you're going to have to do it on the Ubuntu Touch side. I tried to go online to see if there was any information that I could do to try to get around this. But I wasn't able to find anything that even addressed that issue on the internet. So let's just close that here. I do have Spotify here. That seems to work just fine. So yeah, so I think you may have trouble with apps that require this device to be apps to operate within landscape. You may have some issues with that, or apps that are based around video. Those are going to be things you're going to have issues with under Waydroid, but everything else seems to be fairly functional. Gaming you can do, although I'm not sure how you do gaming that requires the device to be in landscape. Portrait gaming, I did find a pinball game in F-Droid that worked just fine under Waydroid. In the F-Droid store, I found that pinball game. But I have seen people demonstrating gaming, landscape gaming using Waydroid. I'm not sure what they did in order to make that a reality. I tried to do it. It was a racing game that I got from the F-Droid store. And when the game opened, it tried to switch it into landscape, and it wasn't functional in landscape because of the issues that I showed earlier. And I actually had to shut down the entire Waydroid instance because it froze the entire Waydroid. So I had to actually shut it down and restart it in order to regain access. So there is a way to do it, but I'm not really sure. I'm not much of a gamer, so it's not something that I'm going to look into deeply, but there are probably ways to get it to work. Now, that's another issue you're going to have with this. You may come into individual problems, and you may not be able to find solutions online. I have no idea how many users are using Waydroid, but it's going to be a small number compared to the wider users that are using Android, a full version of Android on an Android phone. So there can be issues and problems that are going to be hard to find solutions to, or you may not even have other people or users of this service who are not experiencing those same issues. So the small user base can definitely be an issue here if you're going to be using this extensively. I think, again, it works best if you are a Ubuntu Touch fan and you get great usage and experience from Ubuntu Touch as a whole, where you just go into Waydroid to get those extra apps that give you a fuller experience or experience that you cannot find under Ubuntu Touch. You have to be really satisfied with Ubuntu Touch because this is not a replacement for Android in a dedicated version of Android that you would get on like an Android phone. It's just a companion, and as a companion, it does really well. So yeah, that's how Waydroid works. Now, one thing that is going to also be a factor here, as you see, it behaves like an app, so you can go through here. But you can't really close Waydroid like you would normally close an app. Like I would, if I wanted to close the system settings, Just go like that, or the browser. Let's go like that. Now the problem with Waydroid is that if I close it and you can't really activate it again. Like if I wanted to open up the system settings again, I can just click on it right now and it'll reopen under the Ubuntu Touch operating system. Waydroid is not like that. So let's just go down here and try to open it up here, and it will not reopen if you close it in the app switcher. Normally it will not. See how when you're doing these unscripted videos, things happen unexpectedly. So it is restarting right now, but this is not something that would normally happen. So this is also shows the unstable nature of this device. Most of the time, if you close it like I just did in the app switcher, it will not reopen if you go back down to the app icon and click on it. The way you're supposed to close is either by going in the terminal, or another thing that you could use is the Waydroid Helper. Now, someone in the community here created this app, and it gives you additional, it's a companion for Waydroid, and it gives you conditional things that you can use to improve your Waydroid experience. And one of the things they have here is the Waydroid stop. And this allows you to easily stop Waydroid without entering the terminal. So the way I stopped it previously is not the way you would normally want to stop it, because you would have to either restart your device, the entire device, in order to regain access to Waydroid. But in this one instance, with the unstable nature of this, it actually did reopen, but that isn't what normally would happen. Now also, there are certain things here, like it's still under rotation lock, but if we take that rotation lock off again, so you just remember what happens. So we just took off rotation lock, go back under Waydroid, see what we have here. Will that be fixed in a future update of Waydroid? I don't know. Will the ability to act video, will that be fixed for me in a future update? I don't know. So that's going to also be an issue, how many updates that you'll have going forward to improve the experience. The experience right now is really good, but to improve it so that certain issues that we're encountering right now under Waydroid won't happen going forward, I don't know. Right now, what we have at this moment is really good, and it gives you access to a lot of apps. Most of the ones I haven't really shown right here, but other than the app stores, and they are just fully functional, or the browsers, which are also fully functional. In general, what you're getting right now under this is so good that it is already really helpful for a user of Ubuntu Touch. But going forward, we're not really sure, or at least I'm not really sure how many more improvements or more things are going to happen going forward with this. Also, another thing is that because it is a platform that's used by only a small number of users, it can be difficult to stay on top of things unless you're really you're really active in the community. If you're really going to the forums and looking over the new things that people are posting, there could be developments happen at this very moment that I'm just not aware of. This is something that just happens a lot of times if you're using a very small platform, or and that's not just for Waydroid, it's for Ubuntu Touch overall, or also for like retro computing. If you're using older computers, you really have to be on top of the platform, on top of the community, and really be involved to really know about future things that are happening or current things that are happening. If you're just having fun using the devices, there can be other things going on that you're just not aware of. And that's one of the things that happened with Waydroid with me. I finally came across some videos where other people were demonstrating it, and I was seeing how far it has come. from the time I first heard about it, but it wasn't really implemented yet at that point. But right now it's going strong, and this is just very useful as of right now. So that's just what I wanted to show at this time. I may be showing some things in the future. If you have anything else that you wanted to add about Waydroid, you can do so in the comments section. But I do want to thank you for watching. This is Digital Wandering signing off.